Now, I want you to hear Barack Obama in his usual lamenting the country, lamenting some industry, lamenting some grievance. By the way, I should say this. I've been thinking about it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Ladies and gentlemen, despite all the hype that had been handed to us starting in September and October, I do not believe anymore, although I was extremely skeptical at the time, that our financial system was going to collapse. I don't believe it anymore. I'll tell you why. Despite the TARP money, they don't know where it went, and now it's being misused by Obama to nationalize various industries. It has never been used to do what they said it needed to do. Despite the fact that Obama is spending trillions and trillions of dollars that we don't have. It just doesn't make sense that if our financial system is hurting, that we would put a historic pressure on it like that. So I don't believe it anymore. Not that I did originally. But the TARP was money, hundreds of billions of dollars, $700 billion slush fund, as I called it at the time, for a president. I don't care which president, a president, violates every conceivable notion of separation of powers and limited government, and has not been used as they said it would be used. So much for the financial system. And as I say, the utterly reckless, at historic levels, spending, deficit spending, again shows me that this was never about our financial system, and always about government and the politicians in Washington seizing as much power for themselves from the private sector and you and me as possible. And it is playing out right now. Right now. Now let's listen to Obama today lecturing us, a man who's accomplished Zippo. Let's listen to him lecture us yet again. Cut 2, go.
It's no secret that these are folks who've occasionally been at odds.
This is cap and trade
for years, even decades. In fact, some of the groups here have been embroiled in lawsuits against one another. So that gives you a sense of how impressive and significant it is that these leaders from across the country are willing to set aside the past for the sake of the future. For what everyone here believes, even as views differ on many important issues, is that the status quo is no longer acceptable.
Stop. The status quo for Obama is never acceptable unless he's created it. Now, this is crucial. I write about this in Liberty and Tyranny. The status quo is never acceptable to the statist unless he has created it. So the status quo in this respect, which is energy use and the production of cars, is not acceptable to Obama because he seeks to destroy and then control these entities. Go.
While the United States makes up less than 5% of the world's population, we create roughly a quarter of the world's demand for oil.
Stop. That quote is slightly different than his usual quote, and again, it's in Liberty and Tyranny, and I said then, and I will repeat now, listen to that statement, 5% of the world's population, a quarter of the world's demand for oil. What he used to say is a quarter of the world's resources. And he is telling you there, as he has told us before, for those of us who pay attention, that he wants to make us poor. He wants to make us poor. Now, the fact that we're one of the few countries that know how to use these natural resources in a productive way, because we are, or at least were, a capitalist country, doesn't cross his mind. There are dictatorial regimes throughout the third world that are sitting on all kinds of natural resources, but they don't know how to get to them, and they have no intention of getting to them because they are backwards, they are repressive, they are Marxists, they are terrorists, they are socialists, or they're simply fascist. That is, they are statists. So the fact that we're able to husband our resources to the extent that we're still allowed to turn them into something productive, to advance humanity, to improve our way of life, is not something that a president of such a country, ours, should be talking down and troubled about. This is the difference, for instance, between a Ronald Reagan and a Barack Obama. Reagan would say, well, of course we use 25% of the world's resources. If in fact that's even true, who the hell knows if it is or not? He doesn't either. But let's just stipulate to it. Because we have a more efficient economic system. Because we feed half the world. We medicate half the world. We protect half the world. We do things that most of the rest of the world can't even imagine. They're free to try. All they have to do is look at our society and try and emulate it. But that's not how Obama thinks. Obama thinks we have to dumb our nation down. Go ahead. Continue, please.
This appetite comes at a tremendous price.
This appetite comes at a tremendous price. So when you heat your home in the winter and you cool your home in the summer, when you decide to drive to work, when you decide to drive to a vacation place, apparently your appetite is out of control. Now, the government's appetite is not insatiable, is it? Now, that appetite can never be satisfied. There's something wrong with you. And this is my point. There's always something wrong with you. There's always something wrong with us. There's always something wrong with the system handed down from our forefathers to us that has worked so brilliantly. And Obama has a plan. He always has a plan. He has a plan for the automobile industry. He has a plan for the energy industry. He has a plan for the entire economy. He's got one plan after another, like a good charismatic demagogue. They always have plans. Now, Obama's going to praise in the next clip Arnold Schwarzenegger, the worst governor in the United States, the worst governor in the history of California, a complete disaster and a liar who came to office as a fiscal conservative and now is the most spendthrift governor in the history of California, and there have been many liberal governors in California. Let's listen to this. Cut 3, go.
And I want to applaud California and Governor Schwarzenegger and the entire California delegation for their extraordinary leadership. They have led the way on this, as they have in so many other efforts to protect the environment.
They're destroying their state, and he's being applauded for it. Absolutely stunning. Destroying the state, and he's being applauded. Depopulating the state, stealing the income of the citizens of the state, subsidizing illegal immigration in the state, putting the extreme environmental movement above the well-being of the people who inhabit California. This is a man to be applauded? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Finally, here's Arnold Schwarzenegger, the jerkinator himself. Let's jump to cut 6. Cut 6, go.
And so I want to congratulate the president because 3-4 other administrations previously have tried to do that and were not successful. There was a lot of dialogue about reducing greenhouse gases and making the cars more efficient, but no action. So this president, after 120 days in office, has created the action and brought everyone together. So we are ecstatic
that's
about
enough
this.
for him. His broken English gives me a headache. The fact of the matter is this. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Obama and the rest of them, we know as a matter of evidence and statistics, one and the same actually, will be responsible for more deaths on the nation's highways with lighter, less safe automobiles, as I write in Liberty and Tyranny and as I've discussed here at length. Utterly and completely irresponsible. Not one word about the human cost of what they're doing with this fake science. Not one word. Not one word.